This is New Amsterdam Season 5, Episode 9, discussion slash review, titled The Empty Spaces. And I feel like that title, boy, it hit the nail on the head right there at the ending of the episode. Let's talk about it.
Live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings, I'm a big fight.
Yet again, another good episode. It wasn't great, but it was a very good episode. And one particular part that I really enjoyed is Wilder's patient this episode. You know, the dude is dying, you know, he has cancer. So, you know, he feels a little entitled, a little pompous, but he was one part that I actually enjoyed really about this episode. And he was a little funny as well. But he goes to Wilder, you know, to check up on his status and everything. And we find out that he's in remission. Now, we're celebrating everything, and then he tells Wilder that, you know, he's not taking his cancer pills, you know, like, so she's dumbstruck and want to know how is he in remission if he's not taking his pills. And, you know, that's one premise for his character in this episode. And as the episode progresses, we find out that, you know, he's taking a bunch of vitamins and supplements and all this other type stuff, and he's also taking hair growth. And long story short, we find out that that hair growth medication that he's taking also had an effect on his cancer. Now, it's a rare type of cancer. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's a rare type. So it's not going to be like widely mass produced, but Wilder gave him the information that, you know, because of that, you know, it can help someone else that has that particular type of cancer. Now, there's not a lot of money to be made, like if, you know, because she gave the whole stipulation about Viagra being used, you know, for heart medication at first, but, you know, they found out that it could do other stuff. So, you know, then they rebranded it and repackaged it, and that's how they made money off of it. But it's not going to work for his hair care product pills because, you know, there's not that many people with that particular type of cancer. But long story short, it could help some people later on down the line. And I feel like that was a very wonderful highlight in the episode, you know, similar circumstances. But now, let's get to the nitty gritty. Now, we also have this episode about this woman that Floyd is seeing down in the lobby, you know, with him talking to an old girl. I think her name is Gabrielle, I think that's her name. But anyway, you know, we ain't seen her in a minute, you know, so, you know, he's talking to her, they're having a whole banter and back and forth. He's talking to this chick, and she's a drug user, but she's pregnant, and she wants to give up the baby. She doesn't want to kill it, but she'll kill it if she has to, because she feels like she can't escape the need to use drugs. She's tried rehab, she tried all this other stuff, and nothing was really working. And she finds out that she's just a few weeks shy of actually being able to deliver the baby, even though it's premature. Now it's like premature, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they were to take it out now, like Floyd said, there was no way that the baby would survive. And, you know, she's just a few weeks shy, and she's ready to leave the hospital. She doesn't care anymore, you know, because she feels like she has no choice but to relapse and all this type stuff, man. And a part of this episode I felt really great about was the fact that Floyd and Gabrielle, they teamed up. Now, Floyd came in all abrasive in the beginning. You know, he was going to lock her down in the hospital and force her to carry the baby to term and stuff. And all of that, man, it's so much, it's so convoluted and complicated. I thank God every day I was born a man, man. I'm just being real. This seemed like it's just so much stuff to deal with being a woman, man. And I tell you, I couldn't do it. But anyway, you know, their whole consensus came to be of forming a group to help this young lady to, whenever she needed to go to prenatal checkups and all this other stuff, birthing classes, they were going to be there. They were going to be her support to help her deliver this baby. And at that point, I feel like she also got the urge to where she wanted to keep the baby herself and not give it up. But Floyd gave her the option, you know, like, well, after, you know, all of this stuff, if you still want to give your baby up, you know, that's still your right. But I feel like now she's super excited to have the baby. She even read the paper that, you know, when they wrote on it, what the sex of the baby was, which was fantastic. I feel like that was one highlight from the episode for me. Now, this episode, yet again, I don't know what it is about season 5, man. I don't know what the writers are doing, but I'm still feeling some type of way against Max, man. And this episode was very evident in the beginning of the episode with him changing everything for Iggy, because, you know, like the whole status reports came out for each section or division or whatever. And everybody was pretty mediocre or pretty, you know, status quo, but Iggy's was unusually high. Now, Iggy made this statement that, you know, he was fine with it being that high because that's going to make better for their budget and the donations and everything for his department. And I was like, okay, cool, cool, cool. But Max kind of gave it a different perspective. Now, looking at it from Max's perspective, I understand. You want the facts, you want the real deal. You don't want this, this puffed up piece. Oh well, sure, it was great. And Max changed all of Iggy's stuff and it messed up everything. But at the end of the day, Iggy kind of reworked it, and he kind of made it better for his patients. And I feel like, sure, Max, most of the time, he's on point with his stuff, man. And I'm always there backing him 100%. But like I said last episode, I really don't know what they're doing with Max's character. But, him and Iggy, they were going at it, man. Max couldn't say nothing. He was like, Iggy was just laying into Max, and he was giving him a what for. And at the end of the episode, they kind of worked it out, and Iggy decided to stick to what Max had brought up and proposed, and it actually was beneficial to his patients. And big ups on Iggy on that, man. He recognized it and used it. But that's not even the most shocking thing. At the end of the episode, we see him and Martin kiss. So now, are they back together? Hopefully, they'll give us that, for that whole satisfactory ending with the season and the show ending as a whole. Giving us that Iggy and Martin being back together. Hopefully. Now, let's talk about Bloom. Bloom, mom passed away, we kind of read all into that. And now we're looking at the fact of, who's the executor of the state. And I knew her mom, just to spite Bloom, was going to give it to her sister. Well, Lauren, if you will. I knew just to spite her, she was going to give it to her sister. And her estate is like valued at $7 million. So she's going to give $7 million to her drug addicted, drinking, alcoholic sister, which is horrible. But, I knew that's the kind of character her mom was. She done that just to spite Bloom in general. And the sad thing is, because Bloom kind of laid into her sister and was like, well, no more money for you and da-da-da-da. And now the tables have turned. And it sucks because Bloom would have handled the estate the correct way. And now I know her sister's going to go out of her way and waste the money and do all this other stuff. And that sucks because she's not going to be responsible. But hopefully, we could see a different change. Her maybe having the money could cause her to be more responsible. I don't see that happening, but, you never really know, man. A miracle may happen. But at the ending of the episode, where I mentioned where the title actually came from, in my opinion, was Wilder laying out the facts for Max, because he's still going on about them having a relationship. And then Wilder mentioned it this episode. She signed the whole conversation, and she mentioned that, hey, it's great, and I have feelings for you, and you're constantly all I think about throughout my day and stuff, but there's an empty space there, you know what I'm saying? Because she was going at it and she was going so fast, Max couldn't understand what she was saying. And that was her whole point. She wants to have a relationship with someone that can understand where she's coming from, understand what she's saying. She doesn't have to slow down, because Max wanted her to slow down. And she thought that him learning ASL was a fantastic idea, and it showed initiative and showed that he was really serious about pursuing a relationship with her. But at the same time, it's not going to work the way that he think it is, because she don't want to slow down. She don't want to have to kind of change herself, so to speak, if you will, and she doesn't want to limit Max like that. It's a whole ordeal, man. You know what I'm saying? And she feels like their relationship could be great, but at the same time, he won't get her little quips. He won't get like the little inside jokes. He won't get how she's actually feeling, with her having to convey it in sign language, so you can't really have it. And I'm not mad that they're not going to pursue it. Like, it felt forced, it felt rushed, it never really felt like there was a connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was really rooting for it. I mean, sure, we can't have the sharp one thing, but I mean, nobody was hoping for wax. Nah, that's not it. I don't know what the nickname would be, but you know what I'm saying? Let me see. Wilder and Goodwin. Woodwin or or Gouder. It's not working, man. You know what I'm saying? So nobody was really just fully hoping for it, but at the ending of the episode, we see that, Wilder just was like, hey, man, it's done, and Max is just left sitting alone on the bench yet again. He does choose, some possibly unattainable women, you know what I'm saying? Because we know that Sharp had her whole ordeal going on too, man. So Max, maybe it's time to find somebody else, okay? Or just, hey, be single for a while. That's just my thoughts. We see that Floyd's father is, he's having a little rough time staying with Floyd. He's trying to make himself busy to kind of earn his keep, so he feels like he's useful to Floyd. But I feel like that's a working relationship in development, and it's nice to see them have that dynamic. But overall, like I said, it wasn't a great episode, but it was a very good episode in certain aspects, in my opinion. This is your boy Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them. And subscribe. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life. Peace out.
Hey, yeah, I cannot complain because today, yeah, I'm doing my thing.